Snow fell in veils across the mountain hollow, its silence broken only by the labored breaths of the dying. The drake lay curled upon itself, silver blood staining the frost beneath it. Scales dulled and cracked. Smoke coiled from its nostrils in thin plumes as its great eyes, gold and old beyond measure, watched the two figures kneeling before it. Alexander Krieger's golden scales caught the faint winter light as he bowed low, reverent. His armor was dented and burned, one pauldron hanging loose where a spear had caught him. Beside him knelt Allura, her cloak of black drake-wool fur torn and bloodied, her twin blades still glimmering faintly with the residue of the battle. They had come too late to save the dragon. The hunters, thieves in the guise of adventurers, had nearly finished their cruel work. A ring of shattered tools, scorched glyphs, and broken traps bore testament to the fierce struggle. Alexander and Allura had descended upon them with fury unmatched. What few had survived now fled across the ice, their plans undone by the wrath of a paladin and a ranger, but the dragon's breath had grown thin. "Come closer," it rumbled, its voice like avalanche and fire. "I would see the faces of those who fought not for profit, but for honor." They approached, slowly, respectfully. "You saved what little life I had left," the dragon said, exhaling a long, rattling sigh. "And though I die, I will not die alone." Allura clenched her fists. "You don't have to die, we can—" "No," the dragon whispered. "This body is broken. My heart is slowed, but I am old, and I know the shape of endings." Alexander bowed his head. "Is there anything we can do for you?" The dragon's eyes narrowed with thought. "Yes. 2 things. First, do not let them take my bones. Do not let them feast on what I was. Second, I would leave behind a piece of me, of who I was, that my end may grant beginning." The dragon shifted, a rumble echoing deep in its chest. 2 scales loosened from its hide, one near the heart, shining with iridescent clarity, the other from its throat, dark and jagged, pulsing faintly. "Each of you," Ivanovich said, "tell me what matters most to you." Alexander glanced at Allura, then back. "To protect those who cannot protect themselves. To shield, to endure, even when the world forgets what mercy is." Allura stood still for a long time. When she answered, her voice was low. "To endure is not enough. There are enemies that do not stop. I would strike them before they reach the helpless. I would dominate the path before it becomes a threat." The dragon rumbled approval. "One seeks to shield, one to command, 2 halves of a broken world." Its eyes closed. Its breathing grew shallow. As the snow thickened, the dragon summoned the last of its magic. The air hummed with power as the 2 scales shimmered, stretching and shaping into swords, one gleaming with soft gold light, the other veined with crimson and midnight. The hilts were forged from a substance neither recognized, black, seamless, and cold. One pommel bore a dragon's head, the other the howling visage of a drake-wolf. "Into these blades," the dragon whispered. "I give you memory. You, guardian, take my last moment of clarity. You, hunter, take my greatest regret. May they guide and burden you both." And with that, the dragon stilled. The storm howled. They buried the dragon beneath the frozen earth. Allura dug with her hands when her tools failed, scraping past roots and frozen stone. Alexander built the cairn of glacial rock, setting each one like a monument. They said no words. The silence was offering enough. When the grave was finished, Alexander turned to her. "You told it your answer, but I never asked you why. Why domination? Why control?" Allura sheathed her new blade, her eyes fixed on the mountain horizon. "Because I've seen what happens when we hesitate, when we defend instead of strike. Because sometimes evil must be commanded to stop." Alexander looked down at his sword, the dragon soul blade, its glow faint beneath the frost. "And what if your control slips? What if regret becomes something worse?" Allura did not flinch. "Then I hope you'll still be there to stop me." He nodded. They stood in silence a moment longer, 2 warriors beneath a cold sky, each bearing the weight of a memory not their own, and then, together, they descended the mountain.